Hey, good evening, my friends. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Live. Patrick, good evening. Randy, good evening. How are you? Thanks for joining me on a beautiful midweek night. I'm here in our great state of Michigan. Wherever you are, I hope it's a nice night. I have a feeling it's probably a pretty good night just about everywhere tonight. Who else is with us? Cliff's with us. Linda. Hello, Dave. Scott. Andrew. Craig. Hey, buddy. How are you? Boom. All right. There's the end of that music. Let me change my shot here just a little bit. There. That's better. All right, my friends. How are you? I appreciate you joining me on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. Why is this screen so small? I need to put on some cheater. There. That helps out a little bit. Oh, man. Don't get old, my friends. Greg's here. Jim says it's 77 in Tennessee. Uncle Johnny, how you doing, buddy? Are you over at the log cabin? Hello, Bill. Nice to have you along with us. Jim's in Tennessee. Tony is going to join us next week at Wednesday Night Live. I will look forward to that, Tony. That'll be wonderful. Hello, James. Hello, Bruce. John is sitting out on the porch. John, I'm still mad at you for last week. I think you made a mistake on the buzzer. I think I had a new record, and I think, Callison, you just poo-pooed it away. Hello, Garth, Bruce, Mike, Spencer. Fixing to do some squirrel hunting this weekend. Excellent, Spencer. And again, as I told you last week or whenever you joined us before, hold on. Excuse me, got to sneeze. Bless me. That story about your bear hunt was just phenomenal. Hello, Mark. Heading home Sunday. Too many rattlers out there. No, thank you. I saw my first snake this year, a garter snake, and that's all I want to see for the whole year. Hello, Brad. Johnny Bowler. Hey, buddy. Dennis. Tim, good evening. How are you? I know you're going to join us next week. My name is Mike Avery. This is Wednesday Night Live. So glad to have you along with us. This is something I do every Wednesday. On most of my social media outlets, I used to go, afraid of snakes? Absolutely. Absolutely. I will admit it, Linda. It is a completely irrational and unfounded fear. But I hate snakes. They creep me out. Can't stand them. What's John saying? He's trying to redeem himself here. Well, I think it would have happened last week, Callison, if you weren't screwing around. Yeah, Tennessee, you've got snakes down there, don't you? Geese nesting by your pond. Yeah, I got them too. And guess what? I can't find my pellet rifle, so I ordered a new pellet rifle today. I'm not harassing them. I'm not harassing wildlife. I'm just encouraging them to stay on their own property. Good evening, James. How are you? Hey, Paul. Paul, I really look forward to you joining us next week at the Lumberjack Restaurant. Paul Phillips will be there. Brad Dupuis, Mr. Anglerquest will be there. Nick DeShano of Offshore Tackle will be there. Steve Wyndham of MUCC will be there. Craig says he hates snakes too. Apparently the big guys are afraid of snakes. Johnny says he'll fight a wounded bear before he'll get 10 feet from a snake. I'm right there with you. Hey, Captain Mark, good evening from Catawba Island. Mark is fishing Lake Erie right now where they're into some hogs. He sent me a picture earlier. Big, big fish. Paul, hello, how are you? Hey, Ed. When we fished the river yesterday, no, we didn't even get a walleye. We got one sucker, but it was such a nice day. Hello, Chris. Oh my gosh. Cottonmouth, rattlesnake, and copperheads. Let me ask you something, Jim. Why do you even live in a state that has cottonmouths, rattlesnakes, and copperheads? I'd leave. I wouldn't live there. Callison's, all right, go back and retime the buzzer from last week. Linda says she saw a Massasauga rattler in a bunker in a golf course in Ann Arbor. I wouldn't go in for it either. James says, as long as the snakes don't surprise me, I'm fine. But when they do, I scream like a girl. I told the story on this week's radio show about running into a snake in a hunting blind while I was turkey hunting a few years ago. And I reached down to pick up a thermos full of coffee. And as I reached down, I grabbed a garter snake, just a little garter snake. I knew something wasn't right. And then it moved and I screamed like a little girl. Absolutely. I screamed like a little girl. I jumped up, I threw the blind off the top of me and I ran away. And I admit that. Rob says, move to White River. I got no problem with him. Jim says, we wonder every day. Let's not talk about the spiders. Martin says, hey, good evening, Mike. Last week's segment with John Azoga was a great one. Being from the UP, I appreciated that. Thanks, Martin. But let me ask you this, Martin. Did John's comments about wolves not being a big problem or the major problem that a lot of Upers think they are in the UP whitetail herd, how did that sit with you? Craig is going to Arizona in a few weeks to try rattlesnake tacos. You going down there for work or for fun, Craig? Hey, Tommy, how are you? Hey, Brent. Linda says the walleye in Lake Mitchell are thick up in the shallows. It looks like Tippy Dam during the salmon season. Really? Linda, let me ask you a question. I think I know the answer. I know that on the 15th, which is Friday, the walleye season closes on, yes, inland lakes and rivers. So if you want to get those fish, you better get them soon. Oh yeah, Butch, we got red-winged blackbirds all over the pond behind the house. I hear them every day. Hey, Mike, I did get your email. Haven't responded yet. I appreciate it. You're always very generous. Thank you. David says Johnny Bowler loves snakes. Chris Durson. All right. Thank you, Chris. Chris Durson of Rapid River. Next week at Wednesday Night Live, we've got some great guests. I'm trying to get Chris to come down for one, and some great products. I told Chris that every Wednesday Night Live we do, the most popular giveaway is a Rapid River knife. So Chris said, hey, I'll send you a knife. So look what he sent me. One of these beautiful handmade Rapid River knives. Love this company. Love the people behind it. Love their products. So this is one of the giveaways that we have for Wednesday Night Live for those joining us in person. A Rapid River knife. These things are beautiful. Let's see if I can get, see if you can, there we are. Handmade pieces of art made by craftsmen in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Okay. This is the one we're giving away, but this is my Rapid River knife. I carry this every day. This is the one we're giving away next week. So Chris, thank you for your generosity. I appreciate this. And the folks joining us for Wednesday Night Live will appreciate it very much. If you don't happen to be there that night, or if you don't win that night, there's an easy solution. Buy one of your own. Go to the website, rapidriverknifeworks.us, rapidriverknifeworks.us, or swing by their showroom on US 2, just east of Rapid River. It is a very, very impressive place. So, Chris, thank you for your generosity, buddy. You're going to make somebody very happy next week in Wednesday Night Live with this knife. Hello, Mike. Good evening. How are you? Another Mike. Thanks for joining us. Tommy. Fun. Your daughter lives in Phoenix. Craig, have a good time. Eli, I've seen lots of deer on CFA land. Think they stay on it because they can outrun predators. Johnny says, whoever doesn't think wolves are a problem, then they are the problem. I don't know, Johnny, if you heard the interview, it was with John Azoga, the man himself. He said, wolves aren't the problem people think they are. Ed says he hates bats. He knows they're great for nature. Spiders and snakes, no problem. I do not like snakes. Justin, why? I thought you were doing better. Ed says he loves his Rapid River. Well, technically it's Heidi's. Hey, Dennis. Jim says a work of beauty. Johnny says the live is freezing up on me. Not sure why. I don't know why. Could it be you're about? Oh, Jason says his is also freezing. Same. Sean, same thing. Let me see if I can knock down the quality. I'll go down to standard definition on my video and see if that makes a difference. Everybody says their feed is freezing up. So I knocked down the quality to standard def. Boy, everything appears to be fine on my end. Obviously, it's not. Everybody says it's freezing up, even though I knocked down the quality. Okay. All right. If it's freezing up, even though Justin said you got it perfect now. Okay. All right. Better. Okay. Well, what happened is I was sending out a signal in high definition, and apparently that was too much for my bandwidth tonight. So I knocked it back down to standard definition. Actually, I look better in standard def than I do high def anyway. Okay, so it looks like we got it. Justin says, yep, you got it. Linda says, perfect now. Worked for you, better, great now, working now. Okay, Martin, what does Martin have to say? Martin says, I know wolves are definitely a problem, but I agree with John when he made the statement about wolves not being our biggest problem. Gotcha. That's better now. Chris says better now. So, Chris, if all right, let me just go through this again. In case it was locked up, this is a Rapid River knife. You know, I love these knives. You know, I love the company. You know, I love their products. You know, I love the people. Chris Durson of Rapid River sent me this knife to give away next Wednesday on Wednesday Night Live. This is a beautiful knife. You're going to make somebody very, very happy. Rapid River makes wonderful knives, handmade by craftsmen in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. We will give this away to somebody joining us on Wednesday Night Live next Wednesday at the Lumberjack. If you are there and don't win this, or if you're not there in person, you can still get a Rapid River knife. Go to the website, rapidriverknifeworks.us, rapidriverknifeworks.us, and order a knife or stop by their showroom on US 2 just east of Rapid River. Hey, Chris, I have people ask me all the time, is there a promo code if they order a knife? Is there like an Avery promo code? Everybody says better now. Comments are delayed. Better. It's good now. Offshore account. Are you out there on the water right now, Mike? I saw Mike yesterday. Fished with him a little bit. That's just right, Linda. The lower resolution hides my wrinkles. I was out with Mike from Offshore Account. Well, Mike is a good friend of my son, James, but he's also become a friend of mine. And yesterday we went down to the Tittabawassee. Oh, see, now it froze up on my end. Yeah, now it's freezing up on my end. Nope, but the boat's clean. Hey, Kimmy, how are you? Chris says, I'm working on the code, Mike. Oh, okay. Chris says he's working on a code to have a discount for Rapid River on their website. Hopefully be up by next week. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. I get that request. I get that question a lot. All right, let me talk about a couple of other things. If you live here in Michigan, were you successful in the turkey drawing? Video still freezing up. I can't do anything more. So I'm not going to worry about it. There's nothing more I can do other than call it a night. And I'm in a mood tonight where if it keeps freezing up, I just will. Did you get your turkey tags here in Michigan? Did you draw for one, or you're going to wait and get one over the counter? I did go fish yesterday, not out in the bay, but the Tittabawassee River. Tittabawassee is an interesting river. It holds a lot of history with me. The first limit of walleye I ever caught was fishing from shore on the Tittabawassee River, throwing a chartreuse 3/8 ounce jig with a chartreuse twister tail. And caught my first limit. And the fish were very aggressive. I actually saw them follow that jig up into 4 inches of water and then flare their gills and flare off. It was very, very cool. I'm telling you, it was very cool. So anyway, went down there with those two guys yesterday, as much as anything to enjoy the weather. The water was dirty. The current was fast. It was about impossible to fish from shore. James got one sucker, and that was it. So we got mixed reactions. Some people say the feed is screwed up. Some people say it's great. So when everybody's not saying it's bad, then it's on your end. Chartreuse jigs very popular in Tittabawassee. They were, and probably still are, Justin. Okay, while we were out fishing yesterday, I also saw my first snake of the year. About a 15-inch garter snake. Not a gardener snake, a garter snake. Good thing I had knee-high rubber boots on, or I would have ran the other direction. I hate those things. I won't kill them. It's not like I want them all dead. I'm just afraid of them. Okay, here's a story for you. Remember I told you how close is the river to TV5? The Tittabawassee River dumps into the Saginaw River down at the Greenpoint Nature Center, which is actually in the city of Saginaw, where I used to fish the Tittabawassee. Well, I used to fish the whole length of the Tittabawassee. Usually when I was fishing from shore, it was upstream. Linda says YouTube's working great. Over the counter. You may have heard me tell the story that last November 14th, I got a phone call from Gina Cannell at Jay's Sporting Goods. And she said, Mike, we have a suppressor here for you. And I'm like, really? I put in a request for that a long, long time ago. I didn't know it was going to come through. She said, we got one for you. And in my naivete, I said, can I come up to the store and pick it up so I can have it for tomorrow's firearm opener? And she just laughed at me and she said, silly boy. No. So since I couldn't get it for the deer season, I was just wanting to get it in time for the bear season. So I went up there to Jay's 3 weeks ago tomorrow, filled out the paperwork, paid my $200 and some for the federal tax, sent all the paperwork in. And Gina said, it's probably going to be 4 to 5 months before you get it. I'm like, okay, that should be just in time for my bear hunt. Since that time, during those 3 weeks, I had several emails from ATF, the feds, with more questions, more forms, more certification, more verification. And then 3 weeks from the time that I submitted the application, I got an email from ATF that said, your application status has changed. It is now approved. 3 weeks to the day from when I submitted my application to get my suppressor for my Brenton 350 Legend, it was approved. Can you believe that? Yes, you do have to renew your fishing license. Oh, when I worked at TV5, I was living in Saginaw, so I fished there all the time. That's amazing. When are you picking it up? Justin, I'm in no hurry now because, well, probably next time I go up there, I'll pick it up. But I'm in no hurry to get on the range with that thing because before I get serious about dialing it in with a suppressor, I need to get a new scope. I have a Leupold 4x1 scope on there right now that I do not like. I want a 3x9 with a big objective lens. So I need to get a new scope before I get serious and go to the range. Yeah, Ed, that's because of that's right. They know me. ATF knows me. That's right. Yeah. Absolutely. I agree, Kimmy. John Callison, who works at Jay, said they've been saying the process and approval status have been going faster. I'll bet you nobody's had it faster than me. Johnny, have fun at Andy's. Get a 5 with a fire dot. What does that mean? The Leupold Freedom 3x9x50 is a great scope. I don't know if I'm going to spend the money on a Leupold, whatever it is. I don't know if I want to spend that much money. That is fast. What information did they need besides what is on the application? Never contacted by ATF when I purchased other suppressors years ago. Oh, they weren't looking for additional information, Paul. They were looking for me to confirm multiple times that the information that I submitted was indeed accurate. VX5 with fire dot. Yeah. I do need a new, I mean, a new scope, a suppressor. I'll be ready to rock. Okay, catching on some business before I tell you about who's coming up on the radio show this week. And we got to give away a Michigan brand ham, by the way. Has anybody seen our friend Nick Grillo on here? I know, Linda. Don't get cheap. I know. Speaking of licenses, Rabbit Homesteading. I made a comment on the radio show last week that I was not a fan. He was here. Okay. That I'm not a fan of senior discounts on anything. I don't want a senior discount. I don't want a senior discount at McDonald's. I don't want a senior discount anywhere. I don't want a senior discount on my hunting and fishing licenses. And I said that on the air. I had a guy from the UP emailed me and said, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. He said, I'll never listen to your show again. I said, okay. Look up that Freedom line. You'll be surprised. Why, James? Because of the features or because of the cost? Nick, are you here? If Nick can confirm he's here, we'll do a giveaway. The Walleye for Warriors boat captain sign up starts Friday morning at 7. Johnny says he's going to give me a senior discount on getting a bear. Okay, Nick is here. You know what that means. Every Wednesday night during the Thanksgiving holiday, the Christmas holiday, the New Year's holiday, and the Easter holiday, the Grillo family of Michigan Brand Meats shows their generosity and donates to you, my listeners, my friends here, a ham for the holidays. Now, in just a couple of minutes, we're going to kick off this week's contest, but let me remind you how it works. If you have won a Michigan brand ham in the last year, please don't enter again. Please don't enter again. Just a second. Okay. Please don't enter again. So here's how you do this. You make a comment why you want to win a Michigan brand ham, why you want to win a Michigan brand ham. Okay, make your comments about why you want to win a Michigan brand ham. Justin won his last week and he got it and he enjoyed it. So starting right now, you've got 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Make your comments on why you want to win a Michigan brand ham. Make them clever, make them witty, but please don't say I'm going to give my ham to a needy family because that makes it impossible for Nick, even though that would be a wonderful thing to do. And if you do that, God bless you, but it would be very, very hard for Nick to overlook that. So give us your comments. Dave says he wants to win one for the holiday, serve up a Michigan brand ham since he's never had one before. Rick says Michigan brand for his little army. Chris said something so great back home I miss. Scott says he's craving a Michigan brand ham because Michigan brand hams are so darn good. Mike Sherman would work for a three grandkids graduation party. That'd be a perfect place for a Michigan brand ham. Randy Murray said he's never had one. Because I love Nick and his hams. I'd love to try one because I've never tried one before. A minute 30 on your comments on why you would want to win a Michigan brand ham for the holidays. The website, by the way, michiganbrand.net, michiganbrand.net. Johnny says, I'll trade trout for a ham. You've won in the last year, though, haven't you? Mark Halston says, is it my turn to win? I hope so. 1 minute on your comments on why you want to win a Michigan brand ham for the holidays. MichiganBrand.net, MichiganBrand.net. Make your comments now. We are going to give away a Michigan brand ham next week at our Wednesday Night Live to the folks joining us in person. Paul, good evening. What did you think of the MUCC meeting? We're going to talk more about that every 30 seconds on why you want to win a Michigan brand ham for the holidays. John Miller wants to win one. Vince does 30 seconds. No, let's make it 20 seconds. 20 seconds on, you ready, Callison? 20 seconds on why you want to win a Michigan brand ham. Okay. Hey, John, how you doing? I mean, Pat, how you doing? I mean, sir, how you doing? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That was not a new record. I set a new record last week and John Callison denied me. This was close. It was a good buzzer, but it's not a record. Scott Hand, lame my rear end. You get on here and do that. Mike Carhauler is tonight's lucky winner. 31.40 seconds. That's 10 seconds shy of a record. Mike Carhauler is tonight's lucky winner of a Michigan brand ham. Mike, I know you're on here right now. Congratulations. Send me your shipping address, or Nick is on here right now, and you can message him directly. Give him your shipping address so he can get that Michigan brand ham out to you, and you'll have it in time for Easter. Who said that's annoying? Vince says that's annoying. Hey, Vince, do you know why I do it? Because it's annoying. Just a little secret. Hey, Smitty, how are you? Mike Carhauler. Yeah, Mike, congrats to you. And Nick Grillo, thank you, my friend, for your generosity. Nick is not going to be able to join us next week at Wednesday Night Live. However, he is sending me north. He is sending me north with some Michigan brand products to give away, including a Michigan brand ham that we can give to a lucky winner that night. Now, Johnny, I have to apologize. I am not using your Johnny Bowler bear mug tonight. I'm using the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. If you didn't win a ham, here's what you can do. You can buy one. Go to the website, MichiganBrand.net. That's MichiganBrand.net. Use the store locator button, put in your zip code. You can find your nearest Michigan brand retailer. And I would encourage you to do that. If you live in this part of the state where I am, the Great Lakes Bay region, or whatever you want to call it, there's stores everywhere. But I would encourage you to do that. Bob Ransom is not going to be there. I asked Bob to be there. He's going to be south for a Tree Stand Manufacturers Association meeting. Okay. So let's talk about Wednesday Night Live, 1 week from tonight. We are going to be at the Lumberjack Restaurant in West Branch, the Forward Corporation Lumberjack Restaurant. The event is full. However, Emil Rousseau says, who is the manager there, says, we can probably squeeze in a few more people. So if you want to join us, here's what you do. You call this number, 989-343-0892. I hate giving out numbers on air or online. 989-343-0892. Again, area code 989. So forget about that, okay? You know it's 989. The number is 343-0892. 343-0892. If you don't remember that number, if you didn't get a chance to write it down, Google Lumberjack Restaurant West Branch, and it'll show up. I would encourage you to make your reservations for 5:30 or 6. It won't cost you a dime. I do expect you to buy your own meal. I'm not buying your meal for you. Wild Game Chef Extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miner is our special guest chef. He's got 2 recipes he's cooking up for us: blueberry walleye and shrimp scampi, because those are the recipes you requested last week. Now, there's also the regular menu from the folks at the Lumberjack. So you've got a choice. Lumberjack has wonderful food. So you can order from that menu, or you can order one of Dixie Dave's specials. I think it was so gracious and so wonderful of Emil to offer this up to Dixie Dave, because, they don't have to let somebody from the outside in their kitchen. So I'm really looking forward to this. The live stream starts at 7:00. That's 7:00, just like we're doing right now. Some of my friends, guests who will be there: Brad Dupuis, Mr. Angler Quest; Nick DeShano of Offshore Tackle; extreme long range shooter, Paul Phillips. Now, Paul is working on something very exciting. I've been talking to Paul about this, something that might be of interest to Michigan hunters. And there is a chance he will be able to unveil this next week. Also joining us, Steve Wyndham of MUCC. Now, we've got some product to give away too, including this very exact Rapid River knife. We're going to give this away to somebody there with us that night. If you don't have one of these, you need one. Rabbit homesteading, buy YouTube, too much Facebook. Don't know what that means. They've got a table for 6 this year. They said, how could a place called the Lumberjack not have great food? That's a great point. Okay, in addition to the Rapid River knife, we're going to have some Offshore Tackle products. Nick is sending me north with some Michigan brand products. The Taggart boys from Rec Broadheads are sending me some broadheads to give away. And listen to this. I've got 2 Primal Vision blinds to give away. Now, the Vision is the newer version of the Wraith. It has a different camo pattern, plus it has brush loops sewn in. We're giving away 2 of those. You're going to want to join us, 989-343-0892. If nobody answers, leave a message on the voicemail with your name, the number in your party, and a callback number. All right. I see a couple of comments here that leads me into the radio show rundown here. My first guest this week is a guy named Tom Andrus. Tom is part of the Great Lakes Salmon Initiative. He's on the show this week because they were at the MUCC annual convention in the Sioux last weekend. He was there because MUCC, now I love MUCC and I'm a big supporter of MUCC, but I vehemently disagreed with this resolution that was up for a vote last weekend. There was a resolution by the MUCC's Fisheries Committee in opposition to the proposal to increase the number of rods that a Great Lakes trolling angler can use. In my opinion, that resolution was based on false information, and I think it was pushed by some people who had a personal agenda. I did this a few years ago. I presented a proposal to increase the number of trolling rods, and I didn't do a very good job, to be honest with you. I wasn't very well prepared. Well, Tom Andrus and Ed Blissick of Great Lakes Salmon Initiative were very well prepared. They went in there and they addressed every talking point that MUCC presented, and MUCC did not pass their own resolution because there wasn't support. So MUCC has not come out in favor of increasing the number of rods a Great Lakes trolling angler can use, but they're no longer in opposition. So that opens up a lot. So what the proposal is, an angler could buy an additional fishing license for $26. It would not allow you to take additional fish, but it would allow you, if you are trolling the Great Lakes, to use 3 additional rods. Here's the cool part. The plan is to use the additional revenue generated by that for cormorant control. How cool is that? Danny, what are you doing down in Florida? Well, I know it failed. Believe me, I was talking live to people who were there. Yes, Scott, you should. Of course. Absolutely. Exactly, Linda. Thank you. If the creel limit, the daily limit, and the size limit remains the same, what does it matter how many rods you run? Exactly. Okay. Scott Hand, interesting question. Is there a discount code for Wraith blinds? I bought 2 more last year. I am not officially telling you this. And thank you, Paul. I am not officially telling you this, but if you wait about 17 days, Scott Hand and everybody else, I will be able to announce a promo code in cooperation with one of my advertising partners, and actually not Primal, that will allow you to get one of those blinds for like 150 bucks. So don't go buy a Wraith right now. Wait, because April 1st, we're going to start a new deal, and there will be a promo code associated with that where you will get a very good price on a Wraith. My next guest on the show is Bob Miller. Bob runs Rolling Bones. It's a service that finds out of state hunts for folks. He helps you navigate the point system, puts in for the points. It's actually pretty cool. In hour number 2, Jeff Poet joins me of Jay's Sporting Goods. If you've been up at Jay's lately and you've seen this big building across the parking lot and you wonder what it is, it's a wildlife and outdoor education center. And it's like the coolest museum. It's filled with life-size mounts from animals around the world. They've got a life-size giraffe in there. They've got a life-size elephant in there. And the reason for doing it is to talk about the role that hunters and outdoorsmen and anglers play in conservation. No, it's not Call of the Wild. This is something different. It's the I don't know what it's called, but it's not open yet. Then Paul Rogers from the DNR, not the Paul Rogers from Bad Company, Paul Rogers from the DNR, talks about how this year they expect to have an early wildfire season because the snow's gone and it's dry. It's early spring. In our third hour, we're talking turkey with Charlie Wiltsey of, well, it did. Here's the thing, Paul. There was never a resolution at the MUCC that would have been in support of it. The only resolution at MUCC was in opposition to increasing the number of trolling rods. So the opposition has been defeated. But since there was no resolution to support it, that couldn't be acted on. But when they, no, it's Bob Miller from Bay City. Yes, Jay's and the Weber building or something like that, John. Yes, Jay's and the Weber building. They would not give me a date because they don't have a date. But soon. Paul says it was confusing. But the good news is the proposal, the resolution from MUCC that would have come out in opposition to increasing the number of rods a Great Lakes trolling angler can use, which was based on, in my opinion, misinformation, was defeated. In our third hour, we're talking turkey with Charlie Wiltsey of Primal Outdoors, and of course, wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miner joins me. No, that's not the way it works. No. Tom, 26 bucks to have someone whack a cormorant. Yes, you're right. And that was a genius move on their part, Great Lakes Salmon Initiative. Because when they threw that in there, because last year the feds gave the Michigan DNR permits to kill something like 80,000 cormorants. But the DNR only had enough money to kill like 20,000 or whatever the number was. So these guys at Great Lakes Salmon Initiative said, well, what if we earmark that $26 from the trolling license to the cormorant program? What do you think of that? Well, how's anybody going to vote against that? Scott, it doesn't matter to you because you're not a senior. So don't be talking to me about senior discount. You got more money than you know what to do with. And I find that not you, Scott, but I find it funny that people wanting these senior discounts are driving up there in $75,000 cars and wanting 20 cents off on their coffee at McDonald's just because they're up in years. Again, I will say, if something has a value to a 50-year-old, I think it has the same value to a 65-year-old. Why should a 65-year-old get a discount? But that's just me. Like I said, I lost one listener over it. It sure is, Frank. They're concerned about a cormorant season going over like a dive season with antis. Everybody's so concerned about the antis, and I am too, but there comes a point where you just got to do things. Speaking of Call of the Wild, isn't that a certain familiar Michigander show? Nugent had Spirit of the Wild, I believe. Call of the Wild, I think, is a taxidermy shop and pseudo museum on the west side of the state, isn't it? Okay, so that's who's coming up on the radio show this week. Again, Walleye for Warriors boat captains. You can sign up online at walleyesforwarriors.org, walleyesforwarriors.org, starting Friday morning at 7. You do not have to be a licensed charter captain to be a boat captain for Walleye for Warriors. All you have to have is a boat big enough to take somebody out on Saginaw Bay walleye fishing. We'd like you to have enough experience where you're comfortable out there. You've got some experience on the water and you have a reasonable chance of getting these guys and gals some fish. Walleyesforwarriors.org. Sign up to be a boat captain. You do not have to be a licensed charter captain to be involved in this. Tell you what, you do it once, you'll be hooked. I am not a boat captain this year, but I'm again involved in the event because I really do support it. Okay, Call of the Wild. Linda says Call of the Wild's east side of the state, 75 just south of Gaylord. Okay, thank you for that, Linda. Appreciate it. John said it's the Jays Weber Wildlife Center. Follow this page if you want to know more about the building next to Jays. The Jays Weber Wildlife Center. And the reason the Weber name, Aditya, how you doing, buddy? The reason it's called the Weber Center is because there was a very wealthy man who traveled the world on safaris and exotic hunts, took a lot of trophies over the years. When he got up in age, he says, what am I going to do with these things? Well, he got together with the Poet family at Jays, and this is what they did. Oh, statewide APRs were shot down. I didn't know that, Paul. Excellent. Thank you. Statewide APRs were shot down. You guys did some good work at the MUCC convention last weekend. John Callison says there's a Facebook page for the Jays Weber Wildlife Center. Jeff Poet could not tell me yet when it's going to open, but he said very soon. They're tied up in some logistics, some licensing, some occupation things. You know how that goes. Okay, one last time. If you want to join us next Wednesday for Wednesday Night Live at the Lumberjack Restaurant in West Branch, call 989-343-0892, 989-343-0892. They don't answer, leave a message. Your name, number of people in your party. I'm looking forward to it. Wild Game Chef Extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miner is our guest chef. It'll be a lot of fun. We're basically sold out, but Emil says we can squeeze a few more people in there. Brad Dupuis, Mr. Angler Quest, is joining us. Nick DeShano of Offshore Tackle is joining us. Paul Phillips, long-range shooting expert, is joining us. Steve Wyndham of MUCC is joining us. A lot of giveaways, a lot of fun, a lot of great food. That's next Wednesday night, 1 week from right now, at the Lumberjack Restaurant in West Branch, 989-343-0892 for reservations, 989-343-0892 for reservations. Again, thank you to the folks I'm working with who have been very generous in their gifts for Wednesday Night Live. This is a Rapid River knife donated by Chris Durson of Rapid River. This is the exact knife we're going to give away, along with many other prizes as well, including a Michigan brand ham. 989-343-0892 for reservations, 989-343-0892. My name is Mike Avery. The website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Email address, Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Have a good week, my friends. We'll talk to you next time right here on Wednesday Night Live.